Okay, so what you're looking at is maybe a nightmare from your grade school or high school or college when you were introduced to the quadratic equation, which is actually one of the more simple algebraic type formulas that you can learn how to do. It's used in business. I'm not sure how, but I'm sure it is in some degree, because why else would we have been brainwashed with it for all those years? So what happens is we can actually, you could actually, solve a quadratic equation using a scientific calculator, but hey, in Excel here, we've got like the world's biggest scientific calculator right here. So why not use it? So the way you set this up is you kind of put the formula in the way that you'd see it on paper. And we also maybe make reference to the fact that x is equal to 1. So what basically happens is we plug in the 1 in place of x, and what that ends up calculating to is what is y. So we want to figure out what y is. So that's what we're going to do for the first two. And then we're going to kind of do it reverse, where we know what it's supposed to be when we calculate it. So now tell me what x should be in order to get, in this case, 24.5 for the y value right here for the total. So you set that up first. Then you set up a column that has your x values in it, all right? And then you'll set up another column, which will be where we're going to be putting the formula that will figure out what then y is, all right, what our total is going to be. So you set all that up. Now, the formula that we're going to be using is going to be this one here. It's in essence a translation from what we would see on paper. So we're taking that and making it into something Excel can understand, and thus calculate and come up with an answer. So we'll start here at C3, all right? We'll type in equal, type in the number 3, we'll say times, and then we'll go to B3 over here, all right? And we'll say that we want to put it to the second power. So what we do is we use the hat character that's above number 6 on your keyboard along the top, numeric keyboard along the top there. So we're getting, in essence, 3 times, what you see here, 3 times x to the second power. Then we'll do a minus, all right, and now we'll have 12 times, and now we need to do, again, B4, which is going to be where x is here, or I'm sorry, B3, where x is at. But since we can't get to it, I'm just going to have to just type in B3. All right? And then once I've done that, hit the plus, and then 9.5. That's it. So that there is what we need to type in to kind of represent that. Hit the enter key, and we get 0.5. So in essence, 0.5 equals 3 times 1 squared minus 12 times 1 plus 9.5. That's what that would equal. All right? All right, let's do it one more time here. We'll go to this one here. We'll say equal. We'll say 3 times, in this case it's going to be B4, so we'll click on a B4, all right? And that's going to be the hat and then the number 2, so that's going to be the squared part, so that's this part here. All right, then we're going to do minus, all right? 12 times, and then we have to do B4 again. I can't really click onto it, so I'm just going to type in B4, and then plus 9.5, right? Enter that in. There we go. So negative 2.5 equals 3 times 2 squared minus 12 times 2 plus 9.5. So pretty interesting. I know when I was doing these many years ago by hand, it took a lot longer. Okay, now we're going to do the calculation again for this third one, but where we don't have a value for y, all right? Or value, I should say value for x. So we've got the value for y, but we don't have it for x, all right? So how the heck do we do that? Well, first of all, we need to get the formula in, all right? So that's what we see here, okay? So we're going to type in equal, once again, then we're going to do 3, all right, times, and then our B5, which doesn't have anything in it, but that's okay. We'll click onto that. And then our little hat guy, above number 6 there, the number 2, minus 12 times, and then I'm just going to have to type in B5, right? And then our plus 9.5, right? Now we enter that in, all right, and we get just 9.5 because there's nothing over here yet, all right? Now, you could sit there and start plugging in numbers. You know, start from one direction, work your way towards the other direction, try to figure out which way you need to go, and come up with that number on your own just by typing and retyping and retyping. We have a tool, a data tool, that will actually find it for us very quickly, all right? Now let me show you how this works. We go up into the data tab here, and we go over here to the what if analysis area, click onto that, and there's a choice there called goal seek, and we'll click onto that, all right? Now, it's a pretty simple window, but it's not very user-friendly. What we eventually want to do here, okay, is we want to set cell, and it's going to be this one right here, all right? We want to set this cell, okay, to ultimately a value of, in this case, 24.5, right? So we're typing 24.5. In order to achieve that, our computer, or HAL, okay, needs to start entering and re-entering numbers here enough times to ultimately reach it where then y ends up being 24.5, all right? So what we do then, we say by changing cell, and we tell it this one right here, B5, all right? So once you've done that, all right, now watch this. You hit OK, boom, there it is. Hit OK, and it is -1. So -1 needs to be the value that we put in here in order to get the goal of y equaling 24.5. So what do you think about that? That's pretty cool. I've got another one of these, which is actually in the function formulas set of videos, where it actually does those matrices. Remember the matrix where we had like the 3 by 3, like 3x plus 2y plus 1, z equals 5, and you'd have like 3 rows of that, and you had to solve for x, y, and z. That's another good one. And that, though, I said is going to be in the in that module 5 set of videos for Excel. That's your function formulas. All right. But anyway, hopefully this will help some of you out there in the future. You know, it's pretty easy to set up, pretty easy to do. Hopefully you love the video, and we'll talk to you soon.